I'm going to give you two quick perspectives. First perspective, what was it like to watch the Wheel of Time TV series when you've only read the first two books 25 years ago? And second, what was it like to reread the book after having watched the show? Hi everyone, my name's Nev and this is my book channel. So let me give you some background. I have not read the entire Wheel of Time series. I've only read the first two books. I read the first one in 1998. That's like last century, 25 years ago. I read the second book, I think, around the same time, and then I just stopped. I'm not sure why. I think I was just busy with life. Anyway, I had a pretty strong memory of the first book. I remember the start. I remembered there's something about a dark city. There's something with a knife. There's a guy that went all woofy. There's Rand sitting on some wall somewhere in a big city. The second book, there's something about ships and a horn and there's a hunt and it's great. So yeah, to say it's a bit hazy is a bit of an understatement. So watching the TV series, I was like, I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the book. Like the braid ceremony and all the stuff with the false dragon, Logain. I remember there being stuff about the false dragon, but obviously there's a lot more in the TV series. And there were a few surprises like, wait, Rand and Egwene are together. What? Then there was stuff I remembered from the book that I was just a bit sketchy on the details, like the Dark City. I knew there was something there, but it was just a bit hazy. Another good example of that is when they go to Tar Valon. It's just like the big city, and I thought, yeah, they went to a big city. That must have been the city, you know? I didn't think anything of it. My memory was so vague that I was like, yeah, that's the city where Rand was on the wall. And so I decided it was finally time to read the entire series. I'd always put it off because it was a bit daunting. It's about 12,000 pages. I'm a bit of a slow reader. A good week for me is about 200 pages a week. That's really good. So we're talking about a whole year here, more than a year. When I finish a book, I like to peruse my bookshelves. I've got quite a lot of books here, a lot of them unread, and I would occasionally pick up the first book of the Wheel of Time and think, maybe now. But now is the time. I'm diving in. And I just finished it a few days ago. So what was that like? For starters, for me, I have a pretty hazy visual picture of what's going on in a book, especially when it comes to characters. So it's helpful for me to actually read a book after seeing it as a movie or a TV series. It kind of helps me visualize potentially what that character is doing. I think they did a pretty good job of casting the people that they did, especially Rosamund Pike. I think she did a really good job of capturing Moraine. That kind of flat, distant, knowing look she gives. Very in keeping with the book. While reading the book, it was jogging my memory. I was like, oh yeah, that's what happened there. And oh, they really changed that bit. That kind of thing. I can appreciate the changes that they made, seeing as TV is a different medium and modern audiences probably require certain things, and that takes nothing away from the enjoyment of reading the book. Perhaps it may have spoilt some of the surprises, like that whole sequence with Rand's birth. That's like, oh, spoiler. I think obviously that's gonna come up in later books. It doesn't appear in the first book, definitely. And of course, there's a whole bunch of you going, it's in book X. Here's some random things that stood out as I read. The start felt very slow. It was quite a while before the action started. I think what happens in Shadar Logoth. Anyway, I think what happens in Shadar Logoth with Mat is probably more interesting in the books than what happens in the TV show. It was fun seeing Mat and Rand learning how to pay their way with juggling and singing. Oh, the big city is Caemlyn. It's not Tar Valon. Haha. Whoa, Loial is almost 10 foot tall. Oh, and the Waygate is in a cellar. That's a lot more kind of Dungeons and Dragons. Which, for the TV show, they made it into this big cinematic thing, which makes sense. It's nice to have a fast travel system, eh? Oh yeah, the Green Man thing. Yeah, that definitely wasn't in the show. And Rand having that whole out-of-body experience at the end, that was weird. Oh, and the horn. Set up for book 2. Nice one. As for general comments about the book, I love his writing style. He's very descriptive. I love how believable the characters' actions are. It's apparent there's a really big world that he's creating. I love that. Occasionally he'll just give you a little info dump and I'm like, oh, I want to know more about that. Oh, and I forgot that there's references to like our world. Like at the start there's a storyteller and he's telling the villagers stories about things like Len flying in an eagle to the moon. It's like, okay. I quickly scanned through the TV show again and noticed right at the start there's like these big office towers kind of overgrown, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. The last quarter of the book is very fast-paced and exciting, but it does make you wonder, like, you spent about 100 pages just random Matt visiting taverns. It's like Robert Jordan got near the end and thought, okay, I've really got to wrap this up now. My question at the end is still, how can there be another 13 books? I've got them all on the shelf here, ready to read. I guess I'll find out. They're all hiding behind here. Yes, everything is double shelved. Leave a comment to let me know whether you've read it for the first time after watching the TV show, maybe for the first time or again. Let me know what you thought. Anyway, please subscribe. I probably won't post very often, so you're not going to get a billion videos. I'll only post if something's interesting. Shout out to Daniel Green.